The loudest sound on my street wasn't a snowplow. It was a metal grinder screaming against my gate at 7:12 a.m. I looked out my kitchen window and saw a fresh chain, a shiny padlock with an HOA sticker, and Brenda Whitmore smiling like she'd just repossessed my front yard. And in that moment, I realized if I didn't move fast, I wasn't just losing a gate. I was losing control of my own home. My name's Jake Turner, and I just inherited my grandfather's place in a small mountain town called Pine Hollow. It wasn't fancy, but it was solid cedars out back a gravel drive and an old black iron gate that had been there longer than most of the houses on my block. I wasn't even fully moved in yet. Boxes everywhere, coffee maker on the floor, bed frame still in the plastic. That kind of new life chaos. Then I get a certified letter. Thick paper, stiff, tone 0 warmth. Silver Pines Homeowners Association. 10 days to comply or they'd remedy the violation at my expense. The violation was my gate, on my land, that my family installed decades before Silver Pines ever existed. I laughed at first like, okay, cute. Somebody at the Homeowners Association must be bored. 2 days later, my doorbell camera lights up with motion and I see a white SUV rolling slow like it owns the pavement. Brenda steps out with a binder under one arm, hair perfectly set, the kind of smile that isn't friendly. It's a warning. Behind her is Ty Grant, the HOA compliance guy, hovering with his phone out like he's filming a nature documentary about an uncooperative resident. Brenda doesn't knock like a normal person. She stands at the gate, points at it, and says, "Chain it. Today. Community safety." I open the door and walk down the drive in slippers because of course I'm in slippers. This is not a day I planned for. "Excuse me," I say, trying to keep my voice calm. "You can't touch that. It's private property." Brenda flips open her binder like she's about to read me my rights. "This gate blocks historic access. The association has authority to restore safe passage." Ty adds real smug, "We've already had complaints." I look past them up and down the street like I missed a parade of angry neighbors. Nobody's out there. No community. Just Brenda, her binder, and this weird little performance. "Show me the easement," I say. Brenda taps a page with her manicured nail. "It's in the bylaws." I stare at her for a second. "Bylaws aren't a deed." She smiles wider like I'm adorable for not understanding how power works. "We'll be back." That night I come home from grabbing groceries and my gate is chained shut. Not loosely. Not like a warning. Tight-wrapped, twice padlock clicked with a bright little HOA sticker slapped on it like a signature. For a full 5 seconds I just stand there in the cold groceries in my hands thinking, no way. No way someone just did this. I didn't cut it. I didn't yank it. I didn't give them the meltdown they were clearly hoping for. I took my phone out and filmed everything close up of the lock, the sticker, the chain, the hinge, my property marker, the timestamp. Then I walked back inside and pulled up my county records folder, because my granddad wasn't the kind of man who did handshake ownership. The next morning my camera feed glitches. It doesn't fully die. It just stutters like someone messed with the line. I step outside and find the cable tucked differently than it was the day before, clean little nick in the insulation. Not an accident, not weather. That's when the anger stopped being hot and turned cold. This wasn't HOA drama. This was someone testing how far they could go. I called the Homeowners Association number on the letter. A cheerful voicemail. No answer. I emailed. Auto reply, "Thank you for contacting Silver Pines Homeowners Association." Meanwhile, the neighborhood Facebook group lights up, because of course it does. Someone posts about unsafe access emergency vehicles and a resident blocking community passage. They didn't name me. They didn't have to. Everyone knew who just moved into the old Turner place. And I felt it real physical pressure. Not from a court, not from a law, from gossip and that quiet American fear of being the problem. I'll admit it. There was a moment I stood in my kitchen with the chain in my hands and thought maybe I should just open it. Maybe this is easier. Not because I thought I was wrong, but because I was tired. Because I wanted one normal week in my own house. Then I saw that HOA sticker again, bright and smug, and it hit me. If I give them an inch, they'll write it into a policy and call it precedent. And next month it won't be a gate. It'll be my fence, my parking spot, my backyard lights, whatever they decide is community. So I called a lawyer. Nathan Cole, sharp voice, no drama, the kind of guy who sounds like he's already reading the judge's face. I explain it and he goes, Don't argue with them. Document. And don't touch that lock until we have a plan. A plan, I say. A plan that makes them regret ever buying that sticker he says flat as a receipt. We start building a paper trail. County property records, old surveys, recorded deeds. I call a local surveyor, Cal Ross, and he walks the line with a clipboard like it's his favorite hobby. I stopped by the fire station too because Brenda kept pushing emergency access like it was some magic word. Chief Reyes looks at my driveway, looks at the street and goes, "We can access this fine. That gate isn't blocking us. This is an HOA story, not a safety issue." Good, another piece of reality. On paper. 2 days later, I wake up to that scream, the grinder. I'm half awake, brain still fuzzy, and I hear metal on metal outside like somebody is chewing through my property. I run to the window, and there it is. A work truck. A guy in a reflective jacket. Ty standing off to the side with his phone again. And Brenda, right in front, arms crossed, supervising like she's directing a renovation show. I throw on a jacket and sprint down the drive. "Stop," I yell. The worker flinches and kills the grinder. Sparks die out in the snow. Brenda doesn't flinch. She just turns slow, like I interrupted her lunch order. "You can't do this," I say, breathing hard. "That's my gate." Brenda lifts her chin. "The Homeowners Association has authorized corrective action. You were notified." By who? I snap the binder. Ty snorts just loud enough to be heard. I point at the worker. "Do you have a court order? An injunction? Anything that says you can cut through my property?" The worker looks uncomfortable. Now eyes flicking to Brenda like, "Please tell him you're not insane." Brenda steps closer, too close, and drops her voice into that syrupy Karen register. "Jake, don't make this harder. You're obstructing historic access. We're restoring what's legal." I pull out my phone and keep it steady. "Say it again. Say you're cutting my gate." She smiles for the camera. "We're restoring access for the community. And you think you can chain my gate and cut it because you have bylaws," I say. "They're enforceable," she says like she's tasting the word. I made one call. Not to Nathan, not to the Facebook group, to the sheriff's office. 10 minutes later, Deputy Harris rolls up, steps out, and takes in the scene like he's seen every version of "I thought I had authority in this county." He walks right to the chain, crouches, looks at the padlock, and peels the edge of that HOA sticker with his thumb. Then he stands and looks at Brenda. "You put this on here." Brenda doesn't hesitate. "Yes, under association authority." Deputy Harris nods like he's checking a box. "So you admit you locked private property you don't own." Brenda's smile twitches just once. "It's not private, there's historic easement." Deputy Harris turns to me. "You have proof it's yours?" I pull up the county record on my phone and hand it over. He scans it, then looks at Cal's survey stake, still visible near the snow line. Brenda jumps in fast. "He's blocking emergency access." Chief Reyes' words echo in my head, and I keep my voice steady. "Fire station confirmed access is fine. I can get it in writing." Deputy Harris faces Brenda again. "Bylaws aren't a deed. If you believe there's an easement, you go to court." Brenda opens her binder like it's going to save her life. "We have documentation." Nathan's voice had been in my ear for days. Paper beats performance. So I do the simplest, calmest thing I've done all week. I say, "Deputy, their documentation isn't recorded." That's when Cal steps up and points at the page Brenda's waving around. "That format isn't even how this county filed easements back then," he says. "And this seal is wrong." Brenda's head snaps toward him. "Who are you?" Cal shrugs. "Someone who reads records for a living." Deputy Harris doesn't argue. He just watches Brenda the way you watch someone digging a deeper hole. He tells the worker to step back. He tells Ty to stop filming. Then he says very calmly, "Ma'am, if you touch that gate again, I'm treating it like trespass and property damage." Brenda's face hardens. "You're siding with him." Deputy Harris doesn't even blink. "I'm siding with the law." A month later, we're in a hearing room, and Brenda shows up in a blazer like she's about to run for office. Same binder, same posture, same confidence. Nathan doesn't raise his voice once. He just projects my footage. Brenda ordering the chain, the lock with the HOA sticker, the grinder sparks her saying authorized corrective action. The room goes quiet in that way that feels heavy, like the air itself is embarrassed. The judge looks at Brenda and says, "The Homeowners Association cannot enforce bylaws by seizing private property." Brenda starts to protest. She actually starts mouth open, hands lifting like she's about to explain reality to an adult. The judge cuts her off. "If you believe you have an easement, file properly. Until then, this is unauthorized interference." Then the judge turns to Nathan. Counsel. I'm referring this for further review. Brenda's confidence drains so fast it's almost physical. Her binder is still in her hands, but it suddenly looks like what it always was, a prop. And as she sits there forced to swallow the consequences of her own little sticker empire, I realize something simple. Power isn't a binder, it's the receipts.